So that said, today we have Paul Dulieu from Essex Celebrants. His position in the company is a celebrant. Nature of the business, civil. Sorry, I was going to say celibacy then. So yeah, that one. Located in Essex. A couple of bits about Paul. Something that winds Paul up is bad manners.
That's my favourite band.
Oh, so he's not with us though. I've got my date of birth down as well on the thing as well. So it's like, tell him to stop doing too much. Yeah, we should. So, bad manners. Their favourite holiday location, being in the mountains any time of the year. With £1 million cash, he would still be a celebrant. And finally, a sentence on Paul's headstone was, he learned from his mistakes. Put your hands together, Paul Dulieu.
Good morning, everyone. Last time I stood up here and did 10 minutes, I focused on funerals. Today, you might be pleased to hear that I'm talking about something more dreadful, and that's weddings. But before I do, it's worth explaining what a celebrant actually does. A celebrant is first and foremost a listener. I listen to people's stories, the story of a life for a funeral, the story of love for a wedding, or a vow renewal, or the story of a new arrival, a new life, or a new chapter for a naming ceremony. A celebrant is also a storyteller. I take what I've heard and I craft it into words that capture who somebody was, or who a couple, or a family are, so that everybody that's at that event feels the meaning of the occasion. I'm also a guide and a designer. I help people choose readings, music, rituals, and structure, so their ceremony reflects them or their loved one perfectly. And on the day itself, I'm a calm, professional presence at the front, holding the space, making sure everything flows, and allowing the people at the heart of the ceremony to focus on what matters most. Depending on the ceremony, my role shifts as well. At a funeral, I'm more of a presenter, steady, respectful, guiding people gently through a difficult moment. At a wedding, I'm more of a performer, setting the tone, creating energy, and helping everyone feel part of the joy of the day. That's what Celebrants is. We're not tied to religion or to legal scripts. We create meaningful ceremonies, truly bespoke ceremonies that reflect the people involved. And today, I want to show you or explain to you how that looks in practice for you. A celebrant wedding is a ceremony created and led by a professional celebrant like me. It's not a legal service, so the couple usually do the paperwork separately, either before or afterwards, at a registry office, just like registering a birth or death. Because it isn't bound by legal restrictions, though, the ceremony itself can be absolutely anything that couple want. It can take place anywhere. It can be in a bar, on the beach, in a back garden. And it can include whatever words, music, rituals, or readings matter to the people involved. By contrast, registrars are limited by legal wording, locations, and the time they can actually do it. With me, there's no template, no restrictions. Couples get a ceremony that reflects them, their personalities, their belief, and their true love story. Well, why does this matter, though? Why does the difference between celebrants and registrar-led or church or religious leader-led wedding matter? Well, the law around marriage in England and Wales is hugely outdated. Civil ceremonies with the registrars were first introduced in 1837, and in nearly 200 years, very little has changed beyond the addition of same-sex marriage, civil partnerships, and the licensing of particular places in certain venues. And the law focuses on where you can marry. You can marry in a place of worship, a register office, or a licensed venue, rather than who marries you. That's why couples who want celebrants still need to do the legal paperwork separately. And it feels really counterintuitive when you consider that couples spend months, maybe years, and thousands of pounds planning every detail of their wedding day. The perfect venue, the menu, the flowers, the music, the outfits, yet have almost no choice over who conducts their ceremony and what they're allowed to say to each other. There are plans to reform the law to focus more on who marries a couple rather than where. But until that actually comes through, and it's in the pipeline at the moment, couples who want something truly personal have to come to me. I do the beautiful, memorable, personal, bespoke bit, paired with a quick register office visit for the legalities. That freedom, that chance to create something truly personal, is exactly why couples choose a celebrant right now. I help them tell their story, write their vows, weave in rituals like hand fasting, cocktail ceremonies, the signing of a wedding certificate, exchange of rings, and I can blend cultures, beliefs, traditions, and the people that are important to them in their lives seamlessly into a very special occasion. Tone is another big part. Some couples want traditional and romantic. Others prefer relaxed and light-hearted. Because with me, there's no set script. The ceremony can be as formal or as informal as they want. The wedding I conducted on Saturday is a perfect example of this. The couple wanted something that really reflected who they are as a couple and as an extended family. And there's this message I received from the group afterwards shows, I think they achieved that. Hi Paul, I've been thinking a lot about why Saturday was such an awesome day. There are a range of factors, but what it boils down to is the tone you set in your delivery. From the very outset, people got it, and it was just an utter joy for everyone. I've never seen different groups of people merge like they did on Saturday. That was down to you. It was amazing. Thank you. For me, that sums up what a celebrant wedding can achieve. Yes, it was primarily about the couple getting married, Darren and Sarah, but it created an atmosphere and an occasion that brought everyone together, a celebration, which then set the tone for the rest of the day. So, how do I take a couple from we're engaged to, oh, we're married? Step one is I meet with them for what I call a chemistry meeting. We do this on the phone, we can do it online, I like to try and do it in person. But it's to see it clear. It's a relaxed but important meeting. The couple need to feel comfortable with the person that's going to be standing beside them on one of the biggest moments of their life. If they like them, they want to take things forward, that's great. If they don't, that's fine. I can recommend other celebrants that may be more their cup of tea. Step two, questionnaires. I send three to the couple. I give three to the couple. One is for them to fill in together, and then one for them each to complete separately, and not confer with the other person. And they help uncover the stories, the values, the details the couple may not have even thought about yet, and they become sort of the building blocks of creating a script. I then have a discovery session with them. We bring everything together. We explore readings, music, vows, tones, structure, rituals. And this is where the ceremony really begins to take shape. And quite often they've not thought about stuff. And I mention it and they oh yeah, actually that'd be nice to have. And it's an evolving process. Step 4, I write the ceremony. I take all the information and craft a bespoke script. The couple review it, suggest edits, and we refine it until it feels completely theirs. And then step 5, on the big day I arrive early, coordinate with the venue and wedding party, and lead the ceremony with a calm professionalism, holding the space so that the couple can focus on each other. And afterwards, I provide them with a keepsake version of their wedding script, so that at a later date they can sit back and reflect on what a great wedding was. So, to sum up, celebrant wedding is about freedom, it's about personalisation and professionalism. Each one is unique, built from scratch to reflect on their story. My tagline of love, loss and new beginnings, weddings sit firmly in the love and new beginnings part, and it's such a privilege to stand alongside couples as they start this chapter of their life. So if you know anyone who's engaged or planning a wedding with love ceremony that's truly their own, please think of me. Put me in touch. Thank you.
Paul, you emotional,
Well, you know the legality side of it. how does that tie in with you? I mean, I'm practical related. I can't envision it now. What do you do? Just sit down with the registrar? Do they go off somewhere before or after? How does it work?
It can happen at the ceremony itself. But what's more common is a couple will go and do what they call the 2+2, so it's them plus 2 witnesses at the local registry office, either before or after. So the wedding I did on Saturday, the couple were legally married, but they hadn't celebrated it. And so, the wedding, I'm not allowed to actually declare the man and wife. There's certain wording I can't use, but to everybody else there, to all intents and purposes, that's the moment they come together as a married couple, even though technically they were legally married. But if you go back 300 years before you had to register a marriage, and if you go to developing nations, quite often weddings are not a legal signing piece of paper, it's actually a public declaration and wants to be together forever, and so on.
I stayed with shareholder last year.
No, did you?
Yeah. Are you allowed to do funerals at traditional churches and things like that? Obviously, all that within the realms of a vicar or priest, whatever. Can you do those as well in normal, less formal settings?
No. So, church leaving church, for example, it's their domain. And it'd be unlikely, to be honest, it'd be very unlikely that the church would say, actually, we don't get that, so I'm not religious. Or I can do religious ceremonies, but because I'm not an ordained minister, I won't use that.
You mentioned hand fasting. Do you do things like rum jumping?
Yeah, there's when it comes to ritual, the exchange of rings is a wedding ritual. Signing of a wedding certificate is a legal process, but it's also a ritual. The throwing of the bouquets ritual, all the rituals is something that has taken place, for a long time. Hand fasting, which to a lot of people is not really heard of that. The expression to tie the knots comes from this type of hand fasting, which is where the couple have their hands together and there's kind of a symbolic tying of a knot around the hands, which they both put apart and they create this knot, creating this knot together. And but there's also, you can create your own rituals. There's a really nice one, the wine drinkers, for example, where you take a bottle of wine, a copy of their vows or promises, as I like to tell people here, because let's keep things a little bit more kind of 21st century. You put them in the box. The couple now the liquor together, and on their first anniversary, when they read the vows, they drink the wine, and they seal it. So any sort of ritual, any couples sometimes have their own things as well, which is lovely.
Where does rum jumping come from?
Not sure.
I like that. She used the space, she used the phrase, holding the space or can I have it? I was intrigued like that.
Yeah, so you're a couple. The Saturday, for example, the groom standing in front, everyone's looking at him. The bride is due to come in, and so it's really just kind of I'm controlling what's going on inside. I'm giving the signal for when the bride is going to enter, so everyone will be already in the middle. And really, although they are the focal point, the words I'm saying are the important part. So it's really just a bit like I'm doing. Everyone's looking at me, everyone's listening to what I say, and I feel in control of the telephone and the atmosphere. So,
Paul, thank you very much indeed.
Yes.